Alright, we are on the play once more in this league. Match 4 of the league. We're currently 2-1. This hand is a pretty nice keep. We've got 2 goifs, 3 pieces of interaction, and 2 lands. The opponent having mulled down to 6. Or I guess the opponent has mulled down to 6. We don't really need a dependent clause in that sentence, since we made this decision to keep before the opponent made any mulliganing decisions. I think I want to start on a Wooded Foothills. Yeah, we're going to start on a Wooded Foothills. Send it over to the opponent. A basic island and no play. It's a foil island, if that's relevant. From Aether Revolt, I want to say. I don't believe that's Kaladesh. We could go Steam Vents Breeding Pool. Why not go Steam Vents Breeding Pool? Our opponent starting on a basic island with no play means our life total's probably fine. Let's draw a card for turn. It's another Foothills. Well, we're going to play it. Foothills is less versatile than Misty Rainforest for us, so we may as well jam it. Do we run Goyf into a potential spell snare here? Goyf also dies to Lightning Bolt right now. That's not great. We shouldn't have fetched. We probably should not have fetched. The opponent might be on a Bolt deck. This is awkward. I almost want to just pass the turn having fetched inconveniently. I don't really want to play Goyf yet. If the opponent has Spell Snare, it's probably bad. We can't really beat Spell Snare with Goyf, so that's fine. If they have Spell Snare, they have it. We're playing the Goyf eventually. If they have Lightning Bolt, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to play Goyf. I should probably decide what colors we're going to tap for. I don't think we play around Bolt here. If the opponent is on a control deck, we want to land our threat as quickly as possible. Most blue-red decks, obviously, they're playing blue and they need red to be playing Bolt. Most blue-red decks generally, at least as far as I know, are control-ish decks, so we're going to want to land our threats early anyways. I think it's defensible to play the Goyf there. I'm going to cast Delver before attacking with Goyf, just in case they have something like a Mana Leak for the Delver. Let's get in for 1, hold up Mana Leak. If they do leak the Delver, Goyf grows 2 sizes that day. I guess the Grinch's Heart grew 3 sizes, so that doesn't really go as smoothly as I wanted, but that's okay. We're going to leave the fetch uncracked in case we want to do any Delver scrying. Shiv and Reef for the opponent makes me think Storm. We'll probably end up using the Misty Rainforest to Delver Scry here. The opponent going to second main phase. Here is a Baral, and that's the kind of thing I want to try to Spell Snare. If this Forked Bolt were a Lightning Bolt, I would be a lot more liberal. As is, I want that gone. I want it gone now. Goyf also becomes a 3-4 off of the exchange. Here's a Thought Scour. Looks like we're playing against Blue-Red Gift Storm. Thought Scour is A-okay. We could Scour here. There's not really a downside to Scouring here. Don't think we're going to need double green. We're actually decently likely to need double red here. Given that we have Forked Bolt, it's not that likely, but I do like the idea of playing around Remand a little more. We're very unlikely to end up playing a threat after swinging with these two. I'd much rather have Mana Leak up, so I don't really mind tapping the Breeding Pool there. The Steam Vents I'd rather leave untapped in case we do draw a Lightning Bolt, so we can go Bolt, they remand it, Bolt again. 4th land for the opponent, and just a pass. Smells like a Gifts Ungiven. Snapcaster Mage, very nice. Very nice indeed. Knock the opponent down to 7. If they have the gifts on our end step, we do probably have to counter it. I don't know if I want to cast Delver of Secrets. Means we have lethal on board, which I do like. Also means we're totally tapped out, but I mean, we're going to be effectively tapped out anyways. So it's probably just the same. The only value not playing Delver has is we get to bluff with the 1 extra mana. And I don't think bluff value is all that high. There is a non-zero value to bluffing, but it's not great. Here's a Gifts Ungiven, and are we going to Mana Leak it? Mana Leak's probably bad if they have any rituals, if we're trying to leak something on their next turn, so I think we are just going to take care of that. Tap out. If they have it, they have it. If they don't, well, they don't. Here's a Sleight of Hand. They're going to try. See, bluffing, if we were bluffing here, our opponent would probably consider the possibility that we could have 1 mana interaction in our hand. But at the same time, they're basically dead. And Goyf is a 4/5 thanks to Sleight of Hand hitting the bin. So they would have been dead without the Delver if they did decide to cast this Sleight of Hand. So once the opponent, let's say we didn't play the Delver, we just had 6 power on board. We counter Gifts Ungiven and they go Sleight of Hand. Suddenly we have lethal. So if the opponent had any sorceries in their hand, they would either go for it anyways, even if we had open mana, because they're going to make Goyf lethal, or they're going to not go for it and probably die on our turn. That's not a very good idea. I think the Storm player goes for it in either case, whether we have the Steam Vents untapped or not. 2 mana for the opponent. They're trying. Pyretic, Pyretic. They might have it. Lots of rituals, lots of mana. We could see a Past in Flames. No, it's a Grape Shot to deal with creatures by the looks of it. Or they're Remanding Grape Shot. They can't kill us from here, right? Actually, I wonder if they can. Storm count 6. Storm count was 6 after the Remand, I believe. Storm was 5 when they used the Grape Shot. But it gets copied for every spell, so we might actually be dead because we shocked. And that would be something. I do like to think that our life total isn't that relevant in this matchup. Obviously, they're killing us via damage, so it is relevant, but generally, tempo is much more important than the 2 damage from shocking. However, if we don't need the mana, then it's a lot less relevant. Oh, they are going for the board. Okay. So it looks like they're going to empty their tank here to kill all of our creatures. That's fine. Mostly because we have a Goyf in hand. It'll be even more fine if we top deck a Stubborn Denial. That would just be the stone cold nuts. Okay, can these Grape Shots resolve? Grape Shot takes so long to happen. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. Now that the opponent stormed off, MTGO is tracking Storm on our turn just because we played Goyf. And if you don't think that's funny, you just don't have a good enough sense of humor as far as I'm concerned. The opponent goes for an Empty the Warrens, and they have literally nothing else in hand. So I think we just counter it. Oh, whoops. Yep, I'm bad at clicking. I am the worst. So drawing that Stubborn Denial was pretty lucky. I mean, we built our deck around resolving a creature with 4 power and then being able to counter non-creature spells for 1 mana. So we did play to get lucky, but we definitely got lucky there. I'm just gonna... We actually should have done that with the Mishra's Bauble, but given that the opponent has actual nothing in their hand, it doesn't matter how we kill them, we just want to make sure they're dead right now. Lucky, top decking Denial. There was one other thing I wanted to touch on. Oh, I didn't actually consider the Goyf growing off of a sorcery when I was deciding that bluffing wasn't as good as playing the Delver. So it's not that that is something that I took into account and really matters. It's just the fact that if the storm opponent is almost certainly dead if we get to untap and they haven't killed us, they're going to go for it even if we have 1 mana open. So we may as well make it 100% likely that they're going to die if they can't kill us. Anyways, let's board. I've played this matchup enough that I believe I know what I'm bringing in here. It's only 4 cards, so it's not exactly complicated. Vapor Snag. Traverse the Ulvenwald. I'll double check though. There's no need to get cocky. 1 Nux, 1 Traverse, 1 Vapor Snag, 1 Shoal, for 2 Pyroclasm, 1 Basic Mountain, and a Flash Freeze. Just in case you guys haven't seen me play against Storm recently, the reason we're boarding like this is Traverse. I don't want so many cantrips. I just want to draw my lands, be able to play a threat, interact with the opponent. Don't want to spin wheels. Don't want any nonsense. I want to get to business. Vapor Snag is a temporary answer to cost reducers, and that's pretty bad. We need to send their creatures to the graveyard. If we don't kill the opponent right after Vapor Snagging, they get to put their creature back down, and that is basically just... I mean, it's kind of time walking them, which is good. Time Walk is a very good card. People talk about Remand sometimes being a time walk. Sometimes Denial's a time walk for us, but unless you're winning, the time walk's a lot worse. Savage Knuckleblade's a bit slow, pretty easily chumped if it comes down to it. And Disrupting Shoal doesn't hit a lot of their important cards. We really want to hit 2 CMC spells here. The 1 CMC spell's not nearly as important. We're going to counter some red and green stuff. Maybe hit a Past in Flames. Maybe just choke the ritual out. Pyroclasm is an out to the Empty the Warrens they tried to get us with at the end there to stay alive. And Basic Mountain going to help with not spinning our wheels. On the Empty the Warrens point, recently, okay, let's go into a little bit of a history lesson, because it's interesting that the opponent is main decking Empty right now. In the beginning, naturally I'm exaggerating and this is a mulligan because it doesn't do much. This hand is much better because we're going to try to hit a land, interact, clock. I like this hand significantly more. I don't like Thought Scour, I want to draw a land. So, Storm decks, way back when, did not main deck Empty the Warrens. Main deck, they tried to finish you off with Grape Shot, and they would board in Empty the Warrens so that they could, I guess, play around Leyline of Sanctity, and also Empty the Warrens allows you to win without storming off quite as much. The reason I bobbled looking at our graveyard there was to see if we would just happen to draw a land. We will just happen to draw a land, so we can just play Delver here instead of casting Serum Visions. Draw Misty, and we have our second land drop lined up. Baral is pretty bad for us since we have Tarfire and not Bolt. Wooded Foothills, even worse. We actually might be dead here. I believe what I want to do is play Misty Rainforest. Get an island. Cast Serum Visions. Pyroclasm, okay. Pyroclasm isn't the worst. I can live with bottoming Goyf. I think we do want to top the Pyroclasm in case they go for Empty the Warrens. Or we hope that we can top deck a Lightning Bolt on their upkeep thanks to Mishra's Bauble and deal with Baral. That seems pretty unlikely. I'm just going to top that. Oh, we attack. We absolutely attack. That's genius. I should have left Goyf where it was. I didn't think of this line, though. Let's cast that, get some card velocity going. So, originally, Storm only boarded in to Empty the Warrens. Then, recently on the Gifts version, they started running Empty the Warrens in the main deck, as I guess a way to win more easily since they lost Gitaxian Probe. Pyromancer's Ascension got a lot worse. So maybe Storm players felt like they needed a little more, they needed to be able to go off a little more easily. I'm not entirely sure. So they were recently main decking Empty the Warrens. And then even more recently, they went back to not main decking Empty the Warrens. We know we're going to draw Pyroclasm, so we're not looking at our top card. Peer through depths for the opponent. We're going to draw Pyroclasm. We're going to draw... Okay. Well, once again, we're just being rewarded for getting lucky. I did bottom Goyf, right? I thought I bottomed Goyf. I wonder if it says... Serum Visions. Oh, that was their Serum Visions. That's kind of funny. Before Delver attacked, we drew a card. Yeah, we put Goyf on the bottom. Okay, well. Fortune favors the bold, or something to that effect. I'm going to grab a basic forest here. We could always get some red source if we need it off of Misty. Actually, do we get a Stomping Ground instead? I'm going to get a Stomping Ground. That sounds better. So, they were running... I apologize. I'm trying to tell a story here while explaining plays, and it's not going all that well. The second Pyroclasm we don't need. The Spell Snare I will pretty happily put on top. Let's slam Tarmogoyf. If they have it, they have it. If they don't, fantastic. If their method of having it is Empty the Warrens, that's awesome. But anyways, so recently they were playing Empty the Warrens to go off more easily. And then just now, I don't know if it was within the last few weeks, maybe the last month, they started putting Empty the Warrens back into the sideboard because I guess people tuned Storm to be really good. Could have something to do with them playing Opt, I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, Empty went back into the sideboard, and our opponent is playing it main deck, which I thought was pretty neat. They only reveal one. Not sure why we ended up seeing a second one. I'm a little confused. They only cast the one Peer. Here's a second Peer. Off of... Not off of... Oh, did they splice? I think they spliced. I think that's the deal. They must have spliced Desperate Ritual. Oh, they have an Empty the Warrens in their hand. Well, look at that. La-di-da. I was hoping they would burn some more resources on that, to be honest. I was really hoping the opponent would go all in on the Empty plan so that we could just Pyroclasm game. Anyways, let's deal with that and then get in for 6. Hopefully the opponent has a hard time going off after this. Peer through depths, Desperate Ritual. I'm not entirely sure what they did there. I don't want to play this Tarmogoyf because Spell Snare has value. Playing the Goyf here doesn't actually speed up the clock. So they spliced Desperate Ritual. Did they do it twice? They put it into their hand. Yeah, they did splice twice. Pieces of the Puzzle, another card they're running as of late. Not something we can Spell Snare. Revealing a lot of cards. Desperate Ritual, Gifts Ungiven, notably. The opponent put Bolt, Empty, and Bolt into the bin. I think we want to try to counter this Desperate Ritual. We're not really afraid of Remand, except for the fact that they get to loot off of Remand. Well, they get to draw off of Remand and then loot off of Baral, which seems pretty good. I'm going to try to counter their Ritual here. Keep them from going off. If we can keep the opponent from going off, I'm usually pretty happy. Countering things like Rituals when they try to get started, something I enjoy. Do we need the second green source here? I guess we could get a Breeding Pool. We don't really need to play around Blood Moon at this point. So you know how I was talking about bluff equity in the previous game? We're going to knock the opponent down to 8. I'm playing one of these Goyfs. Do I play the other Goyf? Double red or double blue? I don't know if I want to cast both Tarmogoyfs here. It means that we win for sure if they don't have another creature to block. It also means the opponent knows we have actual nothing in our hand. If we're following the same premise as the previous game, we don't care that they know we're on stone nothing. However, it could be relevant. The opponent has a Gifts Ungiven in hand. Once again, I think they're just going to go for it anyways. And if the opponent's going for it, we may as well engineer a board state in which we make it harder for them to win. Or rather, we make it so that they have to win. If the opponent doesn't have to win, then if they don't succeed in going off, it's less debilitating. The opponent's got a lot of mana here with this gift, so I believe they are going to win this. Classic gifts pile for the opponent here. We're looking at 2 rituals of different names, Manamorphose and a Past in Flames. We need to choose what goes into the graveyard. If we give them the 2 rituals, they have 4 mana available currently. We give them both rituals, they ritual into a Past in Flames, cast a bunch of stuff, and we're dead. If we give them Manamorphose and Past in Flames, they're going to Manamorphose, net 1 mana, so they're going to lose the 1 red, they're going to have 2 mana there, cast Past in Flames out of their hand, have 1 mana left, cast a bunch of rituals, we're dead. If we give them Past in Flames and a ritual, essentially the same thing. I don't believe we have a way out of this, so I believe I'm just going to put the rituals into the graveyard. Cards in the graveyard, ritual. I believe we needed more interaction on this turn. Here's Manamorphose, the opponent going to draw a card, make some mana, and now they're going to be, oh, they just had another ritual, so we were super duper dead. Once the opponent starts storming off, if there's nothing we can do, we're probably going to end up scooping. It's pretty likely they're going to build up to a second gift here, get Grape Shot, possibly a second Past in Flames, and make things definitely bad for us. They also might just have the Grape Shot in hand. They're going to get to see a lot of cards, pieces of the puzzle. Serum Visions, Peer Through Depth, Sleight of Hand. Pretty unlikely that we survive here. Once again, though, the opponent would go for it regardlessly of us having represented Mana Leak. Here's a Grape Shot for 13. And let's just watch these resolve real quick. That'll do. Let's head to sideboarding. We're going to be on the play once more. I do like how we boarded. I think how we played was fine. I do think bottoming that initial Goyf we found was wrong. We're going to be on the play. This hand's not good. We can cast Bolt, which is pretty good in the matchup, but we need more than just Bolt. This hand's not great, but it is better. We're going to hope that we can find some threats off of Bauble and the Scry. Throw Mandrills on top. Cast this Bauble. Well, I guess we have to leave our upkeep to cast Mishra's Bauble. Do we want to do the Bauble now? I think I want to play Misty, Bauble them. They're going to draw Sleight of Hand, and we're going to end up cracking this on their end step. Drawing Mandrill's pretty important for us. We need a clock. If we don't clock the opponent, they're just going to win. We saw last game we had 3 Goyfs. We still couldn't win before they took the game. Our opponent's starting on a Visions. They are giving us a little extra information here because we do know about the Sleight of Hand, but I do like that they're using Visions first. Double blue or double red? Double blue better if we have Snap plus Counterspell. Double red, I think, is what we're going to go with, though, just because I have Bolt in hand. Delver of Secrets, pretty dang good here. That's a clock we can play while holding up Lightning Bolt. That is something I'm interested in. That means if they have the cost reducer, we bolt it on end step and go to work. Goblin Electromancer. See, if they had that last game, we probably would have been in a better spot because you can Forked Bolt, Tarfire it. Baral having the 3rd point of toughness, extremely relevant. Here's a Misty Rainforest that's actually good for us because it means we can slam Hooting Mandrills without delving away the Lightning Bolt. And that's something I think I'm interested in. Gonna grab another island here. I don't mind putting down the shield here, so to speak, not holding up Snap Bolt, because it's not very likely that the opponent can win from this position. I mean, it's entirely possible. They go third land, cost reducer, ritual, ritual, manamorphose, ritual, manamorphose, ritual, manamorphose, cantrip, 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 gifts, past in flames, other miscellaneous cards in storm. You get the drift. They did find their land. Dismember, not the best, but it does kill all of their cost reducers. That's the reason we keep it in here. We're going to swing for 7. Pass it over to the opponent. Snapbolt, Dismember, not necessarily enough to win this game. They actually might just have a draw that lets them win via spells. That's not that likely, though. Usually they have a decent amount of trouble with that. Here's a Pyretic. I'm going to try winning, or sorry, not winning. I'm going to try getting rid of this Electromancer with Pyretic on the stack. We're going to start with Snapcaster Mage here. So we pay both blue. They know we have Dismember in hand, so it doesn't actually matter. Remand going to be pretty good against Bolt. MTGO nice enough to target our Lightning Bolt for us here, as it's the only legal target. Keep Pyretic on the stack. Let's try to do this. The opponent might have a Remand here. They didn't. I like going for Snap Bolt there because it means we now have 9 power on board and the opponent's at 9. It also means the opponent has perfect information, but I think I can live with that. Manamorphose, I'm also okay with adding to the opponent's storm count, given that it was necessary to disrupt their creature. If they can storm out here, well, they kind of deserve to win. It's pretty difficult for Storm to win without a cost reducer. They might manage it. They're going to peek. I think they're just trying to dig into something that lets them win, because they already know about Dismember. Us having lethal on board makes it pretty likely that the opponent's trying to find their win con. Looks like they didn't find the win con. That's going to be 2-1 for us against Blue-Red Gift Storm. 3-1 in this league currently. That seems to be the theme as of late, which I am pretty okay with. I think 3-1 is quite awesome as far as finishing up the 4th match goes. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you in... Oh, I messed that up. I don't remember the last time I messed that up. Huh. Anyways, let's try signing off once more. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. That went a lot better. Bye, guys.